Hello, explorers. I'm Charlie, one of your hosts of Explore the Force. With Star Wars Podcast Day upon us once again, we thought it would be the perfect time to step back from the usual news, reviews, and deep dive discussions and talk about something a little more personal to all of us. Star Wars podcasting itself. Why do we do this? How has the community changed over the years? What moments have surprised us the most behind the mic? And where do we think this whole corner of the fandom is heading next?
Yes, today's episode is all about reflecting on the journey, the episodes we're proudest of, the conversations that spot the biggest reactions, and the Star Wars topics we still can't believe we haven't tackled yet. We'll also look ahead to the future of Star Wars storytelling and what that means for shows like ours.
So settle in with me, Jimmy, Jack, Taylor, and Charlie. Grab your favorite beverage from the galaxy far, far away, and let's talk about the past, present, and future of Star Wars podcasting.
Jedi.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
Always a pleasure to meet you.
And my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
You failed your Highness. I'm a Jedi.
And before we get stuck into all things Explore the Force, let's give our listeners a little breakdown of what exactly is Star Wars Podcast Day.
All right. I believe this is our second or third time doing this.
Yeah.
But it's an unofficial fan event where dozens, often around 100 Star Wars podcasts release special episodes, collaborate, or promote each other to celebrate Star Wars audio fandom. The modern coordinated celebration began in the early 2020s. Recent events are described as the 6th annual edition in 2026, showing how the podcasting side of Star Wars fandom has grown into a large collaborative community event. Now, Charlie, why is it on February the 7th?
So this is probably my favorite fact and my favorite thing about Star Wars Podcast Day. The date commemorates February the 7th, 1999, when Jedi Talk, generally considered the first ever Star Wars podcast, premiered.
Jedi Talk? Tell me more.
Jedi Talk is important in Star Wars fandom history because it's widely considered the first Star Wars focused podcast that launched during the build-up to The Phantom Menace, when online fan communities were rapidly expanding. It featured discussions of Star Wars news, expanded universe books, and interviews with creators and authors. Early achieved interviews include conversations with well-known Star Wars writers promoting new books and projects at the time. Because podcasting infrastructure was so primitive, the show functioned more like downloadable audio talk segments distributed through fan sites rather than modern podcast feeds, making it a pioneer example of fan-run digital media. Hands up if you guys remember the internet when it was solely made up of forums in the dark times before YouTube and Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
Take us back to that. Please, please, please take us back to that.
Crickets.
Now that we are all on the same page or sharing the same microphone, if you will, I think it's time to dive into everything Explore the Force, because that's why we're all together. That's why we're all friends. That's how we all know each other. So super, super, super quick fire time, one at a time. Give me your name. Give me your favorite Star Wars film, your favorite Star Wars character, and how long you've been an ETF member for. Jimmy, go.
I am Jimmy the Jedi. I can't remember any other questions. My favorite film, and don't turn off the podcast, is Star Wars, is Solo. My favorite character, it's a tie for 3. It's Ahsoka, Kenobi, and Chewbacca. And I've been one of the founding members, so we're closing in on 3 years, I think.
We are. Jack, go.
Nice, yeah. I'm Jack. I'm also a founding member. Been doing this for 3 years as well. Favorite Star Wars film is Phantom Menace. Favorite characters easily Darth Maul, followed closely by Mace Windu, then Yoda. And yeah, like I've mentioned, been doing it for 3 years, and started off with the lovely lady that's going to go next, Taylor.
Hey, I'm Taylor. I was one of the founding members of Explore the Force. I did have to take a hiatus when I got a little bit, really crazy busy at work. But I've been back and forth. You guys might have heard a couple of episodes that I've jumped back on. My favorite character, I don't know. I've always absolutely loved Anakin and Obi-Wan, but I feel like it's changed so much over the years. And right now I'm like still on this like Stellan Geos high from the High Republic, because you guys know I love the High Republic. But my favorite film is Attack of the Clones, because I am a sucker for the love story there. And then it just gets so, oh, but then Revenge of the Sith is so good too. Ooh, okay. See, I've already forgotten all the questions too. Anyways, the prequels. I really love the prequels. What other
Nice. As
questions?
you
Did
can
I get them
see,
all?
a very like well organized, well oiled, smooth flowing podcast, guys. Well done, everybody. Great
So
start.
organized.
I'm Charlie. I'm the youngest, not youngest, but I'm the newest member of Explore the Force. I've been here for just over a year now. My favorite Star Wars film is The Force Awakens, and my favorite Star Wars character is Rey. Surprise, surprise.
So good.
Nice.
So good.
Um,
We do have
Jimmy,
a
I know that we are missing one of our lovely members this evening.
yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to fill in the mailman's questions for this? Do you know
Some of
him
it,
well enough?
yes. The mailman joined about a year and a half ago to help us with Mike, my high school, one of my childhood best friend. So we've been, I mean, he's a day older than me, and we both just turned 50. So, and he joined to help out with reviews on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights whenever we had live shows, and we just kind of started our own Jedi and the Mailman stuff for Tuesday night conversations. I know his favorite character 100% is Kanan. I cannot tell you off the top of my head his favorite film. I'm going to say Return of the Jedi, because we went and saw that with my dad, and it was probably his first one in the
Aw.
theater. So,
Oh,
but we just want everyone to keep their thoughts and prayers with him and his family right now. He did want to join us, but some things came up. So, yeah. So that's Mike the Mailman. And if you check him out on Tuesday nights live on Instagram and on YouTube.
I do have to say, the Jimmy and Mike live shows are brilliant. If you guys get a chance, go and give them a listen. Cheeky little plug. So, Jimmy and Jack, could you guys just let everybody know when did this start? Why did you guys decide to start the show? How did you two even meet each other?
Jack is the mastermind behind all this, and him and Taylor, actually, because Taylor blew me off whenever I try to talk to her about podcasting, and then she's like, "Who the beep is this guy?" And so I'll let Jack go ahead and tell the story, because he's kind of he's the grandfather, even though he's a young baby boy.
We just did it to take over. Nah, we met through the love of Star Wars, and then we met at Celebration Europe, and I was doing all the streaming and the feeds to Taylor back in Canada, because obviously she couldn't make it to London. And then we got talking about sorting out our own podcast, and then lo and behold, that podcast is still going strong within what we're now just over 3 years. Nearly 10,000 people on Instagram, nearly 1,000 people on YouTube. We've got TikTok. We're everywhere. We've got a website, explortheforce.com. And this is pretty much how it is. Just word of mouth, and then it's just a pop line dream come true.
I think for the three of us, and I don't want to speak for you guys if I'm wrong, but we were all friends through another podcast. And we all felt like we needed to be able to say more and do more with Star Wars. Like, we were really active in the community, and I just don't think it wasn't enough for me. Like, I wanted to talk Star Wars. I wanted my opinions heard, and I don't know, that's weird. I just wanted to be able to talk more about it. And then we kind of found each other, and here we are.
Felt the same,
yeah. Well, I remember. I knew these two guys through another podcast that we all were super active in, a Star Wars podcast, obviously. And I remember having conversations with Jack and Jimmy separately, saying we should, like, if they did this episode, that would be so awesome. And it was like, yeah, you're right, that would be such a good episode. And we pitched these ideas to this other podcast, and obviously it's their podcast, so they're gonna do what they want. And we're like, we should do our own. And then Jimmy goes, I've actually had a script for this one episode for a year, and it's like this massive script about Ahsoka or something. And we were like, whoa. And I talked to Jack, and Jack was like, I'm so ready for this. And we wanted to just meet more people that liked Star Wars, and we just wanted to talk, and I guess it worked out. So we seem to be doing pretty good.
We're still here. And then the newest member, Charlie, tell us about how you were poached.
Oh, goodness me. So this is a bit of a wild one. I'd recently joined Saber Guild, Lucasfilm and Disney affiliated costuming group that does lightsaber fighting all up and down the UK, and there's temples all across the world. We love
Amazing.
Saber Guild.
Yeah.
I was sat because it's a sister club of the 501st and Rebel Legion. We often share like changing spaces and spaces to put all of our stuff and all of our gear. And obviously, you can imagine this is like a sectioned off area full of trunks and troopers and Sith and Jedi. And it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. It must have been about 8 o'clock, 8:10. And I had a coffee and I was sat in front of a mirror doing my hair. And all of a sudden, I realized there was somebody stood behind me that I could see in the mirror, dressed like kind of half a sand trooper. I think you had like the bottom half on and not the top half. That sounds worse than I meant it to. That's not what I
Kylo
meant.
Ren.
Jimmy
Oh my
knows.
God, yeah,
he stayed.
Kylo
He
Ren.
stayed with me in Japan.
Kylo Ren has an 8-pack. And this person stood behind me, went, "Does it take you a long time?" And I looked up and went, "It doesn't, not really," and didn't think much else of the interaction. Went about my day, minding my own business, teaching lightsaber lessons, whatever. And then all of a sudden, said sand trooper appears beside me, takes his helmet off, and goes, "Do you want to join a Star Wars podcast?" And that sand trooper was Jack. And that is how we first met each other. And that was how, within about 5 minutes, I think out of social anxiety, I said yes. I think out of sheer panic of being put, I think you sort of like Darren Browned me, like you sort of like
Yeah.
mentalist hypnotized me into just saying yes.
The blaster was pointed at her.
Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, it was a Jedi mind trick. I was fully like, yeah, I'll do a Star Wars podcast. Okay. Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
she's
And then,
the
lo and
Yankee of the
behold,
team.
you threw me into a group chat, and then here we are. And then you introduced me to Jimmy, and then I met Taylor, and I met Mike, and I've been Star Wars podcasting for, I want to say, about 6 or 7 years now, with various different podcasts. And some of them didn't go very well, and some of them were really nice, but kind of came to an end at their own kind of time and pace. And shout out to Johnny and Clone Army Radio. I miss you so much, my dude. And then I found Explore the Force, and it was such a nice fit. It was so refreshing to sit down and go, I like Rey, I like the sequels, and for both of you to go, cool. Who
When
is
she's
it?
in the room.
Yeah, when I'm in the room. When I leave, that's when they start.
That's not true.
But yes, that is how I ended up with you, ragtag crazy bunch. And now it's been over a year, and I have done things and spoken to people and had experiences and opportunities that I never ever thought would ever come my way. So all I can really say is like, thank you. Thank you
for joining.
Thank
More
you
to
for
come.
asking.
More to come.
Thank you for asking. So, as the newest member of Explore the Force, I will be taking charge of asking some group questions because I can and I do what I want.
Ooh.
So, get digging in those Jedi archives for the last 3 years, and let's. Ooh. Question number one: I guess we covered this a minute ago. Like, what inspired you to start a Star Wars podcast? It was wanting to have a space to have your thoughts and feelings heard, and have, I guess, a bit more control.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just getting the voice heard, opinions heard, and more importantly as well is getting listeners and people that are interacting with us, getting their opinions and thoughts heard, because we know what it was like. So again, we always say on every single show, people interact with us. We will read your comments out, regardless of how many we've had. We had a stage at one point where we used to read all the new people that had joined the group. And at one point, we had like 50, and some of the names are crazy as well. And we're like, we need to stop doing this.
Remember how hard it was to read names? Oh my gosh.
I don't. That's why I was giving it to Jimmy.
And I butchered them I had to apologize before I'd start, and then I would just start ripping into these handles. And you have no idea how someone wants it said or whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We kind of gotten past that. We started growing pretty rapidly there for a while, and it just made it impossible. And we still appreciate the people following us and everything, but yeah.
So yeah, that's first question out of the way.
Well, that's done and dusted then. No, I think the same as you guys. It was important for me. I feel like I mean, if you know this, if any of you have listened to the shows that I've been on, I'm an excessively opinionated person. I can talk the hind legs off a donkey. And podcasting is a great format for me to just sort of do that. and I have a really lovely non-judgmental space where this is something that's really important to me in Star Wars. We can disagree and still be friends. We can disagree about something in Star Wars and not have a humongous fallout over it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Star Wars podcasts that I'd been around or interacting with or been aware of, this isn't a direct dig at anybody, by the way. I know this is podcast day that we're celebrating. I found were quite limited in what they would talk about, what they wouldn't talk about, and everyone seemed to agree with each other. And for me, that doesn't give the most interesting discussions. Whereas for us, I like to think we can, we get into it, we get into
Well,
it.
That's, I mean, honestly, that's why I know, like, Jack and I talked and, bringing Taylor, having Taylor be a founding member was one of the reasons we did that, because you got two white guys talking Star Wars. Oh, that's never been done, so we wanted to have Taylor's, because, you guys come from different, you have different experiences with Star Wars and things like that. And I think that's what makes Explore the Force kind of special, because we can have those conversations, so I really like that. And I think it's more fun that way, because it's stupid for, like, Jack and I just sat here. The only thing we ever argue about is Mace Windu, and, like, everything else, I think we pretty much argue. We pretty much, are kind of, for the most part, on the same wavelength of things, and that's not fun. You want to have a little bit of a discussion.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys think, like, Star Wars podcasting has changed since we started this? Obviously, I can't really speak on this because I've only been here for a year, but does anybody have any thoughts and feelings about that?
Wow. It's definitely changed. It's a lot more out there than it used to be, for sure. I mean, talking about Jedi Talk, one guy sitting behind a laptop posting stuff on forums, to where it is now people are there at events, live streaming, trying to give that experience to people that follow the show, listening. Again, I speak of personal experience. I was at the Skeleton Crew event in London. I was streaming as much as I could for people that were watching, telling them everything I was experiencing. Yeah. It's a lot more out there. I think companies and other sort of people have realized this, and there's a lot more, I want to say gifts, and what's the word I'm looking for? Collaborations with these bigger companies as well.
Well,
it's definitely moved on. Go on, Jimmy.
Yeah, like, I will say, and, to Taylor too, like, we love the books. We've gotten to talk to so many authors, and then we've had the Mandalorian on our show. We've had kids from Skeleton Crew on our show, and, like, in what world do we, and I'm not, again, we're not bashing anybody, but, like, you see, I think people in the business are more eager and more accepting, like, kind of like Jack said, they understand that podcasting and YouTubing is bigger. I mean, you have Leslie Headland saying it's controlling the narrative in some ways, but I can't imagine. I don't know about those two, but when we first started this, I just thought we would talk Star Wars every weekend. I never thought we would have be talking to people in Star Wars behind the scenes, and we had, so that, I think that's changed a lot. I think their eagerness to come on the show and things like that is pretty exciting for people like us, and then getting to meet them. Wow, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Think about it. Like, exactly, Jedi Talks, guy and sitting in front of a computer and he's kind of going off. Think of how interactive that was back then to what it is now. Like, we as podcaster, like, as people that go on here and we talk, we're talking to the people that are listening to us, so they're like our friends. So then it's almost like when we're meeting these people like Brendan Wayne and like Alan from the original series, like, it's almost like we're helping, it's like connecting. Does that make sense? Like, we're asking the questions that you would never be able to ask this person because we have these connections, and it's almost like these actors are not unreachable for the first time ever, right? Because these podcasts are so, like, we can talk, they're so interactive nowadays, right? So, like, before I was podcasting, I got to ask a question to I can't even remember who it is now because it's been so long, but I got to ask a question to, like, an actual Star Wars actor, and I was blown away. Oh my God, because they asked them my questions. Now we're doing that for other people, and it feels great. So different.
I think the real shift in, I think obviously the internet's been a huge part of that, and the expansion of the internet into social media. Like you say, like, forums and forum discussion used to be a very kind of private thing on the internet. If you were in it, you were in it. If you weren't, you didn't have a clue what was going on. Like, I used to open forums as like a kid and a teenager when I first started using the internet. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how to get in there. Most likely missed out on some really, really crazy stuff. But now everyone gets to get involved. It's accessible for everybody at every level. We've had questions and interaction from kids, from parents, from grandparents, from every generation, every age group, every gender, all of it. And I think that's so wonderful that it's become this kind of inclusive thing, and also that podcasting has become such a legitimate thing, especially within Star Wars. Like, maybe given the past history coming from Leslie Hennon, it's maybe not the best thing, but in the same breath, the acknowledgement and recognition that we as podcasters and we as content creators have an impact on what's coming out in Star Wars and what's happening in Star Wars is both a great and terrible power. But no, I think just the expansion of it all has kind of been so beautiful to see. And even in the year that I've been here, it's changed. This is a completely different way of podcasting that's so new for me. Like, Clone Army Radio was it. We were there, but it was a very kind of close knit group of kind of followers and listeners. It was the same people each time. It was a very kind of like small community. Whereas this feels there are 10,000 people nearly that follow us on Instagram. If you put 10,000 people in a room in front of me, I think I'd cry. Like, I can't visualize that. I can't conceptualize that 10,000 people are interested in the content that we post and make. That's insane.
We had 150 in Japan, didn't we, Jimmy?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. That
Yeah.
was
insane.
It was a little nerve-wracking, but yeah.
Oh man.
You did that. You guys did that. That is insanely cool.
Yeah.
So, what do we think makes Star Wars such a strong franchise for podcast discussion? I mean, compared to other topics. I mean, maybe we're all biased because we're all huge Star Wars fans. Hands up if you've got a Star Wars tattoo.
I'm too much of a wimp.
In the camera.
I can't show mine on camera either.
I don't. It's for me. It's like the history of it and all the stories. Because as a history teacher, I love how everything connects. The lore. You know, I'm not a huge EU guy either. So like, this is just the, you know, the stuff that we would consider canon, and there's some EU stuff, but I also think it's the fact that every character has a voice and has a name and has a history, and I think that's a little bit different than, you know, like Marvel is, you know, all the superheroes have names and things like that, but we know what this droid is called. We know the backstory to this and the backstory to that and how things connect. And as more Star Wars comes out, you know, I mean, we've got almost 50 years of Star Wars. I mean, I know it's not been creating for 50 years, but there's been things going on. And more comes out, and it you know, it ties into the real world sometimes, unfortunately, and whatever. But we can make a lot of different things. And now with Disney Plus, I think that it has given us a lot to talk about. Taylor and I, we did the Ahsoka show together when that came out. So we'd be able to hop on there and talk about that and how that connects to this. And I just think the connectivity in the stories, and then of course the connectivity in our real lives, and just being able to enjoy it makes it a lot of fun. I'm sure that there's probably a lot of Marvel and Harry Potter stuff out there, and maybe, you know, DC, but just I don't really want to listen to that. I want to listen to Star Wars stuff. I mean, even though we do this, I still listen to like 2 other Star Wars podcasts throughout the week. You know what I mean? It's just, I want to hear what they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think you hit the nail on the head as well, Charlie, because it's so diverse. It's a whole galaxy of storytelling as well. Like Jimmy's already alluded to, everyone's got their own voice, opinion, etc. So I think there's so many takes on so many things. And like Jimmy mentioned with the Marvel and Harry Potter stuff, as nerdy as it sounds, I think out of Star Wars, Marvel, and Harry Potter, I'd argue that Star Wars is probably the most realistic or closest to being like real. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. Taylor, you got anything?
I just love to talk about the new stuff that comes out. Like, obviously I like talking about the old stuff, but when something new comes out, I am right away, whether it's a book or a TV show, I'm instantly messaging Jimmy like, oh, did you get to this chapter yet? Oh my god, no you didn't. Okay, nothing happens. Like, and then I'm like talking to Jimmy and Charlie, or sorry, talking to Jack and Charlie about like the episodes of like whatever it else is that's coming out, and the trailers, and I love talking to the trailers. And you know what, not everybody around where I live is as big of a Star Wars fan as me, so I need this platform to be able to reach out to talk to you guys about how much I love it. So, and I think that's kind of the same thing with everybody else. This is our connection. This is me holding my hand to Texas or wherever you are, Jimmy.
Kansas.
Close enough.
Close enough.
But you get what I mean there. Like just that, yeah. I love to talk.
No, I think, this is something I feel like I could talk about for hours, genuinely. Um, I love Marvel. I love DC. There are so many fandoms that I'm like deeply entrenched in and have been for. Lord of the Rings is like another huge one, but I think Star Wars is so big and so global and so kind of universally recognized. Like everybody knows what a lightsaber is. Everybody knows what Darth Vader looks like and what Darth Vader sounds like,
Yeah.
and it it kind of pings off these discussion topics in every possible which way direction. And because we've got access to the extended universe and because we've got access to kind of an endless well of ideas and creativity and thoughts and feelings and opinions, it's constantly churning over. It's always changing and shifting and moving, and getting to play catch up with that as a journalist, as a podcaster, is so much fun. Everything new that comes out is impacted by what came before, but also can change and shift what came before, but then impacts everything that might come after it. And did it work, did it not work? I think there's so much to sink your teeth into, and I think now, especially with this Disney changeover, and it's becoming such a collaborative effort, when for years it was just George slaving away trying to get one single idea out of his head and onto the screen, and now we have all of this. I don't think any other franchises that I'm a fan of or participate in can have that. Maybe I need to go and speak to like a hardcore Marvel Comics fan. Maybe I need to go and speak to like a Tolkien scholar to get a similar set of opinions. But for me, it's Star Wars. It always has to be.
It's always
Always Star Wars. Do we think the fan conversation is healthier or more divided than it used to be?
That's
It's a tough question.
Controversially,
That is a tough
I would
question.
say I
isn't it?
actually think it's healthier. I actually think now we've had this little like sequel renaissance kind of moment of like, actually, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. I feel like maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. Maybe I'm living in an echo chamber of everybody being happy and positive about things. But how do you guys feel?
I think you're right. I do think that right this moment, I think Star Wars is in a healthy place. But that's also because we don't have something airing that everyone is in the middle of, you know,
trash.
Yeah, that's an
hating or
excellent point,
loving right
actually.
now. So right now, everyone has kind of had they've had their time to think of how they feel about things. Everyone's kind of had their time to get what they don't like Acolyte, love Acolyte. Oh, but what I've seen is the hunt for Ben Solo stuff is bringing so many people together, right? And it just shows all the people that were like, oh, we're not a fan of the sequels. Maybe you guys actually are. It just needed to ferment a little bit. You know what I mean? So I do think right now we're in a really good time because everyone has had the time to make their decisions on everything. Right? So just wait for something new to come. Then we have something new, some new sparks to play with. But right now I think we're good.
Yeah, I agree with Taylor. Go on, Jimmy.
I think too, though, like for us, I don't follow people who are asshats about Star Wars. Like
Negative.
we've had people on the show a couple times who like, I mean, they love some of the prequel stuff, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but like I don't care for some of it, or some of the stuff in the sequel trilogy that I don't care for, but we're able to have these good conversations and try to learn from each other. And I don't think that we really, hang out, or I see it, I just try to ignore it. It makes me sad. But yeah, I think right now with nothing new coming out right now, and I was, like Taylor said, I was shocked by the response to the Ben Solo stuff. Like that was pretty cool. We'll see what happens. I think a big thing will be, let's say if Mando and Grogu comes out and it doesn't like split the fandom in half, like everything seems to have done. Like if there's like 75% leaning positive to it or something, that'll be a big swing. I think in the fandom. So that'll be interesting in what, April, to find out. I think that'll be a real test, because I think everyone's going to love Maul, because it kind of, it's animation. It's not as serious, although it is serious. But yeah, I think I think that we also have built a community and we're friends with people that have their communities, and those communities are starting to connect. And
Yeah.
so, like, it's just kind of expanding out, and then positivity. Like, it used to be that there's only these negative people out there spreading all this rumors and hate and vitriol towards Star Wars. And I think there's a lot more, like Solo or like Lando said, there's more of us. There's
Yeah.
more of
Yeah.
us, right? And I think
Yeah.
I think that we are starting to slowly outnumber the negative people, and our voices are starting to, kind of like, hey, you don't have to like it, but you don't have to be a jerk about it either. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens, though. Hopefully that stands true, and we'll see what happens with Mando and Grogu.
Guys, these are some fantastic answers. We are on top form today. We are on top form, if I do say so myself. Which era of Star Wars, and I'm talking OT, prequels, sequels, Disney Plus era, has been the most fun to podcast about, and why?
Have we even talked about the original trilogy hardly at all in our
I don't
3
even
years?
think we have an
Oh.
era, if I'm honest. I think for me, like favorite era, like I like doing all like
Mm.
the Ahsoka stuff, the Acolyte stuff, Skeleton Crew stuff. So if I had to put it into an era, that sort of like post sequels, early sequels.
That's like the
post-
Disney Plus, like the peak
The
Disney Plus era, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd chuck Disney Plus era into that for me. I've loved doing all the
Fair.
episode stuff. Movies are great, yeah, but yeah, I've really enjoyed the episode stuff.
Yeah, the movies are great.
I would have to agree with Jack. Like, since we started this, and we came in right after Book of Boba Fett, I think we weren't a group yet.
Yeah.
No, we weren't.
I-
That was like
but,
the time zone, though. for
Yeah,
sure.
so I would say the Disney era, because it's given us so much, and it's been polarizing, like we just said. Like, there's so much hate. I mean, we've gotten MF'd on our live shows because we like the Acolyte, you know what I mean? So, like, some crazy stuff has happened. And then we've gotten lots of love for things too. So I would say the Disney era, but it all kind of always stems back to the original trilogy, because it all kind of starts there and comes out from that. But I don't really honestly think, like, we've done a lot with the sequels, we've done a lot with the prequels, but I don't know if we've actually really dove into the original trilogy in almost 3 years. Like, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but
Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah. I think we have a new assignment.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate that when we all agree. I like that when we all have different opinions, but honestly, I do agree with the Disney Plus like TV show era, because it's, as we have talked about it before, it's like we're getting a movie, but they've spread it out so much farther, so they can put so much more into it, which has given us so much more to talk about. And there's just more to explore in that galaxy when we have 8 episodes versus, a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah, same answer as you guys. Ditto.
Well, I'm going to be different, because I actually
Yay.
think talking about the sequels with you guys has been genuinely one of like the funnest experiences I've had as a Star Wars fan. It took a lot when the sequels came out for me to stand on my own 2 feet as a Star Wars fan and be like, no, I love this,
Good.
in the face of all of it, all of the hate, all of the vitriol, all of the venom that was being spat out by the so-called fandom, to stand there and go, no, I do actually really like it. And it took a long time for me to find other people in my life who also agreed with me that, yeah, there may have been bits that I didn't enjoy, but they're good and they're fun. And I can see, those people can see why I like it. And that's what I found in you guys. Like the times that I joined kind of Jedi and the Mailman and spoke to Jimmy and Mike about The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and getting Sydney involved in that as well. And just having a space where we could kind of shift the perspectives of the people around us and be like, hey, if you consider it from this perspective, actually it opens up and suddenly becomes like this fantastic piece of cinema that provides this, and this for Star Wars. And it's been really, this is really cringy of me to say, it's been really healing for me to have that space to be like, hey, I love this thing, and then be told it's okay, I love it too. Like, that sounds silly, but it's been so fun and so enjoyable. And I sort of want to do it all over again. Can we please? Thank you. Yes, great, good. I want to talk about our community and our listeners because I feel like this has been such a huge part of building this podcast and building kind of this space that we all sort of exist in and that we share with people. Does anybody have like a favorite listener interaction or feedback moment that really, really stands out? Taylor, ladies first, off you go.
Woo! I actually, okay, so I'm gonna give you a shout out. Matilda Backlund, the
Matilda,
Swedish
yeah, she's
Jedi.
awesome.
So I met Matilda through this podcast and through talking to her, and then it turns out she listens to the same other podcasts that I listen to as well. But I just in talking to her a little bit outside of the podcast, we became friends and we actually exchanged like chocolate bars and goodies and stuff through the mail. And I got all these like crazy awesome Swedish goodies and chocolaties and candies and chips and stuff that like I would never have tasted anywhere else. And then I sent her a bunch of like Canadian stuff that I see every day, but you don't find it there. And we had like a little like I actually sent her socks that didn't fit me. I don't know why, but I sent socks and they fit her and she loved them until they didn't work anymore. And she's like, I can't get them. And then she sent me kids' clothes. But just this little interaction with somebody who listens to the podcast, who has similar views and ideas and stuff as us. And I got to connect with someone across the world. So that was one of my favorites, is just that little. And also, my husband ate all the chocolates after the first day. So I got to taste a little bit of them. But yeah.
That's a good one, Taylor. That's awesome. Mine, it's recent. Obviously, if you've listened to us before, you know what Mike's going through. And the fact that we started Jedi and the Mailman, it comes on at like 7 p.m. my time, Central Standard Time, and a few weeks into it, we get this guy Tahu who pops up, and he's from New Zealand, but he lives in Australia. He's a band, he's a rock and roller, and he comes on every once in a while, whatever. And then Mike, was going through his hard times and things like that, and we started to GoFundMe to help Mike's family. And the first person to donate money was a man from New Zealand who lives in Australia that we know because of our podcast and our Star Wars. And then from that moment on, people, friends of the show and people who listen and viewers and things like that have jumped in, and that has kind of blown me away. And I know Mike is super moved by it. He has a hard time even talking about it. But just the love and support from the fandom, from the listeners and the viewers, I think that's pretty incredible. And, we have a lot of great conversations with people. Comel is always all the time talking with us on the podcast stuff, but just everybody kind of diving in and supporting Mike that's pretty amazing and emotional. And I'm going to stop talking now because I might get a little weepy.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Well, I've had an absolute load that I can't really pin down. I've got to mention Darren Briscoe, always interacting, friend of the show. Some of his comments are absolutely fantastic, and he goes really into depth. Como you've already mentioned, the Cooper Smiths, again, Wayne, Helen, Naomi, all of them coming up to me, show me the merch, show me the shirts and that. So again, that's probably going to be my favorite listener interaction or feedback moment. But I think a massive one for me from the off was moving to Canada and meeting Taylor in Vancouver.
Aww.
Even though I don't really count as a listener as such, but yeah, meeting Taylor in Vancouver Zoo, that was wild. Like,
oh my
I'm
god,
across the world. I'm living in Canada now. Here I am.
yeah. No, I ran up to Jack to give him a hug, and I'm like, I thought you were taller.
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, meeting Jimmy again in Japan as well, that was insane.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so.
Yeah, nuts. It's nuts.
I think for me, something that I found really interesting over the last year that I've done this, I've had people message me that I've not spoken to since I was in college, secondary school, like since I was a kid and a teenager, people that I'm still kind of in like loose contact with. Like, you know, when you have like a friend on Facebook that you've known for like half your life, but you don't speak to them all of the time. It's
Yeah.
people that like I know and I'm aware of suddenly messaging me and being like, I listened to like the latest episode of your podcast. It's really cool. I love Star Wars. I think you sound really awesome. I think this is really great. This is really fun. You look like you're thriving and you're having a really good time. And I think it's Star Wars is one of those things that brings people together. It always has done. And letting it this being kind of the vessel for that reconnection of people that I've not spoken to in a long time is something so pure and so wonderful. So it's more of like a personal listener thing rather than a specific interaction. But again, I also have to give a little shout out to Artie Darth, Kev. He's always commenting on our posts. He's always in our DMs. We talk Star Wars and Daisy Ridley all the time. You are a top dude. If you ever go from Germany and come to the UK again, we'll have to hang out and spend some time together because we have like a couple of people who are just always there. Reliably, you can always guarantee that we'll have like 5 or 6 people that always comment on our posts. And that makes me really happy. That makes me feel all like warm and fuzzy inside. Oh, I'm feeling all like gooey and reminiscy. This is so sweet. Taylor, I know that you have to disappear from us soon. I know that you've been called to a greater mission in the wider galaxy.
Thank
Do
you.
you have an episode of Explore the Force that you've done that you are the most proud of?
Oh goodness. Ooh. You know what? There was one episode that made me really, really happy. And I'm just saying this like really quickly. But the episode where it was Jimmy's birthday and we made him cry because we got all of the listeners to say happy birthday to him. And then we ended up getting, yeah, and then we got and then we got like Darth Vader and stuff to say, or was it Darth Vader?
Yeah, Spencer Walden.
So Spencer, yeah, and Jimmy was balling, and oh my
We had
gosh,
no
that
idea.
episode felt so good because we got everybody together to do it, and it just felt so good because it was like our whole big family. It wasn't like I'm proud because I talked to this star. It was like this is what we've built, and I don't know that that makes me happy and proud that we did that. So, and we didn't even have to bug people to send us stuff. They were already sending us videos to say happy birthday to them. So I think that was that 2 years ago? Ooh.
Yeah, not last Christmas before, yeah.
Yeah, oh, it was a while ago. But yeah, that one, just because it just proved how much of a community we built here, right?
Yeah. Literally, now you've said that, I've lost my train of thought. What I was going to say.
Sorry.
Whilst Jimmy realizes he's on mute. So my other one, my other one, I was absolutely proud of was. Let me think now, because that completely threw me off.
Sorry.
I mean, we've had some right cracking episodes. I think having Mark Rolfe on was one of my personal favorite ones as well. You know, getting the listeners on the show, which is what we're about, getting people's voice and opinions heard, for sure. Getting Brendan Wayne on, Ravi. I think Ravi I'm going to go for. Ravi was unreal. Realizing as well again how talented these young kids are, because that's what they were at the end of the day. You know, God, yeah, so many. I think I have to go with a Ravi one for myself. Skeleton Crew.
Fair.
Jimmy, what about you?
Yeah, man, there has been so many. I mean, we're on episode. I mean, we just published episode 142 this past week, so there's been a lot to choose from. Oh my gosh! I mean, I was blown away by Kiriana. You know, another one of the kids from Skeleton Crew, and how excited they are. And just, you know, as a high school teacher, seeing kids like that, you know, and I don't always get to deal with kids that are quite that motivated to do things. So that would be amazing. But I don't know. There's been some really good conversations had, and it's like weird times. We've interviewed people, and I was nervous about, like, Tessa Grattan interview. I don't know why I was nervous to interview her, but she ended up being amazing. I mean, I knew she would be, but I was just like super nervous for it. And some of the authors, and you know, I don't know. There's been a lot. It's really hard to pin one episode down. And, you know, you got guests on there. And then sometimes we just have these great conversations where, you know, like a light bulb moment or something like that. hits, and you're just like, I never even thought of it that way before, or whatever. So lots to go through. I mean, because we have 140 some episodes, and then we have all the live stuff, and Taylor and I have done tons of like review shows and book shows and just things like that. So yeah, I would be hard pressed to say which one episode, but as far as guests, Kiriana kind of blew me away. I think she was just so sweet, and then how nice she's been since. It's been pretty cool.
In fact, I remembered what mine was actually most proud of, and it was one that I couldn't finish because I was running for my life in Belize during a hurricane. Remember this
That
Joker
was
one?
so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we hear the sirens going in the background and he's still standing outside. We're like, get down in the freaking cover. Like, get down.
That's
There's
my
no
most proud.
reception down there.
That was an insane
Literally
one.
risked his life.
I feel like I missed the crazy years of Explore the Force. I feel like I was
Oh,
not, I was,
you
I
know
was
what?
not on board.
There was even people.
Jack, can you recreate
that-
it, please?
Yeah, there was even people that said that we wouldn't make it past episode 7. And if you
Yeah.
look, we don't even have an episode 7 because if you know, you know.
Oh God, don't. That is my least favorite.
Least favorite episode is number
We'll talk to you
7.
we'll talk to you off air, Charlie.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'd really
Anyways,
appreciate just
I'm
a
gonna-
crumb of context.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take that as my exit because I do have to get back.
Wait, Taylor, wait. One of the episodes I've done that I'm most proud of is the one that you, me, and Sydney did, the No Boys Allowed episode.
Oh! Okay, I can
Because
sit for
that was
another
the
minute.
first time.
That was my least
That was
favorite.
the first time I'd been given like full carte blanche to just do it like myself. Record the
Yeah.
episode, be in charge of the StreamYard, set it all up, write the whole script, edit it, put it up, put it on the YouTube, do all of the captions. And I think we did a smashing job.
It was so fun. We had like
Don't get
there
any
was no
ideas. You're
limits.
contracted.
No, that was so fun, and it was like kind of like the first time we were meeting too. So
Yeah,
that
it was the first time you and I had a proper conversation, and I feel like immediately I was like, yes, you are definitely my type of person.
There
are
we go.
definitely going to be friends. And
We
now,
were friends.
and now
We
you
started off
post,
as friends.
yeah, now you post selfies on your Instagram, and I scream at you in your DMs and call you my wife. So
And I love them.
winning in life.
Love
So,
it.
Taylor, if you need to head off, we will say goodbye.
I do. I will listen to the rest of the episode later, and I'll catch up with you guys hopefully next week.
Bye.
Taylor.
Take care of their ankles.
Bye. Thank you. Don't let them talk about me, guys. Don't let them talk bad about me.
I
Tell
won't.
me.
Don't worry.
Bye.
Be nice. Oh, bless her. Also, the other episode I'm most proud of, I think, again, I feel like I'm just name dropping here. I feel like I'm just sat here flexing all of the Star Wars celebs that I've been able to talk to. Jimmy and Jack know this. I don't do very well interviewing celebrities. I really struggle with being like really, really starstruck. I struggle a lot with anxiety and worry, and often it's those two talking while I sit there for 15 minutes in complete silence with like a really kind of deer in the headlights look on my face. Like I don't adjust well at all. And then we spoke to Brendan, and within minutes, I was more comfortable and more relaxed than I think I've ever been with somebody who is a Star Wars celebrity. I deliberately avoid like meet and greets at cons because I don't know what to say to these people. I feel too awkward and too uncomfortable. But Brendan was the easiest, most relaxed, chillest dude I think I've ever spoken to. And suddenly I wasn't speaking to like an actual celebrity and highly qualified stuntman and costumer and actor and body performer. I was just talking to a dude with a cowboy hat on, like it was so relaxed and so easy and so normalized. And I think that is not only a testament to my growth as I sound like I'm just bigging myself up here, my growth as a broadcaster, but also our energy that we've cultivated and worked on, and the fact that we all get on with each other and we all care about each other so much. And this is so important to us. It shows in everything that we do. It shows. And I think that's just so, so special. I love you guys so much. Best thing that's ever happened to me. That is how I feel. What is one Star Wars topic that we still haven't covered that we really probably should, other than the
We've
original
said it.
trilogy? Because obviously that's been
Yeah,
made very
that.
clear.
Yeah, I mean, I
It could be that.
don't. yeah, we need to do something with the original trilogy. Just kind of dive in, or maybe we
Yeah.
do
Mhm.
like a watch along and we record it or something. I don't know, but yeah, we need to do something fun like that. Let's kind of. I know we've talked about our moments and things, but we really haven't dove into those movies, and that's
100%.
something. And especially with the 50th coming up next year, I mean, I'm sure we'll have the
That's what I'm
opportunity to
thinking.
start getting into
Mm.
the weeds of things, and but yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else there is. We have lots of like best of, or things like that we can do. But yeah, I think that's the original trilogy one kind of popped into my head.
That's a big one. It's a big one.
I want to talk to you guys about the holiday special. It's like my biggest Star Wars like niche interest. And I feel like I really need to I need to let you guys in on like the deep lore that is behind the Star Wars holiday special. And so this Christmas we will try and dedicate an episode to it, because
Fair.
there are things that I don't think you guys know,
I've never
understand,
seen it.
comprehend. Are what?
I can't bring myself to watch it.
Fake fan.
Yeah.
Alarm noises. Fake fan.
I'm
What
with
do you
you,
mean
Jimmy.
you've not seen the holiday special? It's hideous.
I know, and I just can't. I just don't want to. I mean, I was one of us that was alive when it came out, and I still am just like, I don't know.
Yeah, is the face you make for the like whole 3.5 hours that it runs. So enjoy that.
I would like to do character deep dives,
Yeah.
like
Yes,
individual characters, because
that
like
could be really
I
fun.
kind of had this thing with Solo recently, with it being my favorite movie, and thinking like, I don't think Han Solo is really a scoundrel. Like, I think
No,
we've misunderstood Han Solo since 1977. Like, and I think
Mhm.
that the Solo movie nails it, right? I don't want to get into it too much, but I just was like, we should start doing like deep dive on characters and things. So I think it'd be kind of fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. It's got to be the OTs. I think that's the one for me.
fair. All these questions are about kind of looking forward into the future, into the near future, into the distant future. What upcoming Star Wars project are we most excited to discuss on the show?
Oh, that's a doozy.
Starfighter, I think, for me.
Literally, that was
Starfighter's a
the
good
first
one.
thing that popped into my head was Starfighter. That's the one I'm most excited for.
And I'm excited for Maul, but I don't know what it is about Starfighter. I just feel like it has this potential to be
Has a spark.
they have like franchise changing for some reason. I don't know why, but
I'm going to go with Amanda and Grogu
nice.
purely because
Nice.
it's at this point in time still not really advertised as well as I think it should be. It's not talked about as much as it should be. So, and I think the impact of this is going to be absolutely huge as well. But yeah, Starfighter. I think Starfighter might be if Mandalorian and Grogu flops. I think that will be the Acolyte version film wise, and I think that Starfighter will be the skeleton crew to pick everyone back up again. Maybe. I don't think it'll flop
Nice.
personally. I think it'll be absolutely fine. But
I think it'll be all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't. I think it's because it's not new. Like
Yeah.
Starfighter's new. Like we don't know anything about it. We know Mando and Grogu. I know we don't know anything about the story, but we know Mando and Grogu. Like we've gotten 3 seasons with them. We spent a lot of time with them. So I just think the newness of Starfighter, Ryan Gosling, Flynn Gray, Mia Goth, Matt Smith. Like, I mean, even talking, just blowing you away with like the actors that are in this. So I think maybe that's part of it for me. So
Yeah. Not happy.
Oh my god, no one said Ahsoka season 2. I'm a little bit excited for Ahsoka season 2. Like not as much as I am for Starfighter, but I am excited for Ahsoka season 2.
definitely has a lot of potential with the lore and stuff, I think.
Oh yeah.
Be some fun conversations.
And I don't know if you can call it a upcoming Star Wars project per se, but again, I know I feel like I talk about this every single episode. The opening of the Lucas Museum of Narrative Arts is kind of top of my top list.
Yeah.
Of oh my god, I don't think I can explain to somebody or anybody really how vital, essential, and important this is, especially at the current times that we're facing. Art is so important. The preservation and protection of art and art forms is deeply essential, and this represents something so unbelievably huge for not only Star Wars but for the creative arts as like a wider whole. Incredible, absolutely incredible. This is a really nice, like, juicy question. Get your thinking hats on. If we could interview anyone from Star Wars, past or present, who would it be and why?
I know mine is without a shadow of a doubt Carrie Fisher, 100%.
Oh, that's a good one.
What
mean,
a
yeah.
hoot!
She'd be a
How
wild
hilarious.
interview.
Oh my goodness
What
me!
what other answers are there, really? I feel like that would be every podcaster's dream, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Next for me would be Dave Filoni, just because of his new position. His
Mm.
I just don't think like talking to George would be fun, but
Yeah,
like,
no, I get
but
with
like,
this.
No, it
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah, I mean,
Let's
it'd be
be
like, oh my
honest.
gosh, it's the creator kind of thing. But I think Dave would be, watching him in talking to interviews, and then watching him and John Favreau talk at Chicago, like he'd be a fun dude to sit down. And now you got, he's the president of Lucasfilm. Like his journey from a kid in Pittsburgh to this, that would be nuts. And just his life story, minus the Star Wars stuff, would be crazy. And then you just start throwing all that Star Wars stuff and like the pressure he feels. Like if he was going to be honest with us about the pressure and things like that, I think he would be the top guy for me, top person for me. I'd want to interview, because there's so much that I'd want to know how he's feeling. And, he's got to be a duck on water, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Calm on the top and just crazy on the inside. So I think that would be mine.
I think for me, it would either be Ben Burtt, the sound designer,
Oh, that's awesome.
just for the chance to speak to him about where these ideas were kind of conjured from, and to be given something so kind of insane and impossible and conceptual, when George just sort of handed him a script and was like, yeah, I want this, let's make sounds for this. And if people aren't aware of the process behind kind of how the sounds for Star Wars were made, go and spend some time looking into it, because it's absolutely fascinating. And if it wasn't Ben Burtt, it would be Phil Tippett, the animator, because his contributions to Star Wars, specifically his stop motion animation for the Rancor and the work that he did with the animations team in the early days of ILM, get celebrated more now than they used to, but there is still aspects of it that I don't think people are aware of, and I would love to just sit down and just give him the space to talk about this thing that is and has been his whole life. Yeah, I would love to absolutely get stuck into some of the kind of the techie people and the brains and the minds behind Lucasfilm and ILM specifically.
Great shout.
What advice would we give someone starting a Star Wars podcast today? Oh, great and wise ones.
Ignore the haters. Stay persistent. Be determined.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
just keep rolling with the punches. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days, you'll have terrible days. But you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Say the same thing, because like Taylor said, I mean, when we got started, people weren't real thrilled about it, and we're not going to make it past 7 episodes, and we're 142 in, plus all of our extra stuff. I know we've probably gotten close to 300 up. So yeah, just be consistent. If you love doing it, and you can't worry about the numbers. I know sometimes we kind of get wrapped into it now, because we are, if we're being honest, we are trying to get this someplace.
Yeah.
Whether it does or not, I mean, we just keep coming back every week. And I think you have to put a good team around you, because like we've all had our ups and downs with stuff, but we always come back to each other. And I just think, it's kind of funny, because it's like a found family kind of thing, like Star Wars is. None of us would know each other. I mean, think about 2 Brits, a Canadian, American. There's no way we should know each other. And I just, just be open, be honest when you're talking. Like, be honest. Don't sit there and just say things that people want to hear. Like, that's stupid. Like, say things, like, talk about how you believe, because you could change someone's mind, or you could give someone a different perspective, and I don't know. I think that's the best, because like we're positive and we never slam anything, but we haven't liked everything, and we're honest about it. Like, I don't like this, and here's why. And it's not racist or sexist or anything like that. It's just like, well, I don't like this for these reasons. And I think that's more important than trying to get clicks and selling hate and all that kind of stuff, personally.
Yeah.
I think for me, It's more work than you think it is.
Even with like 5 people, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, even with 5 of us, it is more work than you think it is. I'm not saying that's not a reason to not like that's a reason to not do it or a reason to not try. Being realistic is really, really important. I spend at least half of my week telling these two that it's fine. The algorithm isn't out to get us.
They're out to get us.
Everyone needs to calm down. We've not been shadow banned. It's fine. Make sure that you're doing it with people that you really genuinely get on with. And make sure that those people have your back. Because there are going to be days where you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to miss an episode. Life's going to get in the way. Life's going to get busy. And there might just be a day where you just don't feel like it. If you've got people with you that support you and care about you and are doing this for all of the same reasons that you're doing it for, it keeps the machine well oiled and keeps it ticking over. Like there have been plenty of times where Jimmy and I have done an episode because Jack's been busy. Jack and I have done an episode because Jimmy's been busy, or we have the ability to move it around when we need to. Just make sure that you're doing it and having fun.
Yeah, definitely get a
Please
team.
have fun. Get a team. Have fun.
Yeah, team fun.
Team fun.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have an unexpectedly controversial opinion that has been shared on the podcast? Do we have an opinion that you guys have put out there that has had the craziest kind of blow up response?
I got blasted on Tuesday for saying I didn't think Pedro Pascal was that great of an actor.
Oh,
I'd like him, but I don't think
Sam.
he's like, I don't understand why he's so big right now. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problems with him whatsoever, but I kind of got hammered a little bit in the chat, and it just happened to be our biggest chat. You know, and people were just like, "What are you talking about, Jimmy?" You know, and just I don't dislike Pedro Pascal. I think he seems like an awesome dude, but I don't get the hype. You know, like I just don't get it.
Yeah,
So
I know what you
I
mean.
put that out there, and that was the first time I've really gotten like slammed by people in a positive, funny way. They were just like, you know, just kind of giving me a hard time. Mike was ripping me up. Tahu was on there, and we just had a bunch of people just kind of getting after me a little bit for saying it. So, but again, I'm going to speak the truth. I'm not going to sit there and sugarcoat it.
Exactly. Jack, have you said anything that's caused like beef rage?
Most weeks, to be
all the
honest.
time?
Probably, I think the
Telling
biggest is
something
like,
positive about Mace Windu.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. God, yeah, most weeks, if I'm honest, but like, I don't know. Maybe the Acolyte was like the biggest thing for me.
Oh,
You know, people
Mm.
really jumped on me for the Acolyte stuff.
That was a particularly spicy time at Star Wars. I do remember. It became almost impossible to even breathe the words. I actually quite liked the Acolyte without being like hung, drawn, and quartered on the street. It pitchforks, torches.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Charlie?
I wouldn't say this is unexpectedly controversial, but we've definitely, any time there is a video with me leading any kind of discussion or point, specifically talking about Rey or how much I like the sequels,
Yeah.
I've been called stupid, I've been called a moron, I've been called an idiot, I've been called a shill, a sellout.
I wish we were shills. Send us that money, Disney.
Yeah, I was going to say, give me that. Where is my Disney money? Because I'll say that I love Ray till I'm blue in the face if you give me £1 million, you know. Which the combination of me being kind of female femme presenting and then talking about my love of the sequels and specifically my love of Ray seems to be particularly inflammatory. We've had a couple of videos end up on what people will call the wrong side of the wrong side of TikTok or the wrong side of the internet, and but thankfully I'm thick enough skins to know that that's just somebody bashing a keyboard. It doesn't actually mean anything, nor does it ever change my opinion, because I love Ray, and fight me about it because I will fight you. I will throw the gauntlet down and I will fight anyone about how Ray is a good character. So yeah, not unexpectedly, expectedly controversial, I guess is the best way to put it. Anytime I open my mouth, the fandom hates me. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. They'll come for you.
Oh, I have some silly questions to round us up. Which Star Wars character would make the best podcast co-host?
Hondo Onaka.
Oh, great shout,
Yes.
Jimmy.
I think that guy would be
Yes.
wild. Imagine the stories he would tell. It would not be a family friendly podcast, folks, but it would be sure as heck fun to turn into and listen to. Imagine him and Lando doing an episode, doing a show together. The stuff that you would learn about life
Oh my God.
and about love and about being a pirate.
Jimmy, I think that's the best thing you've said all year. That's amazing.
That is a cracker.
Jack,
I like that.
who do you think would make the best podcast co-host?
I want to say Jabba. Jabba the Hutt would bring in the views one way or another, wouldn't he? You imagine all these people, they have like their own little events going on, etc. Imagine that Explore the Force, podcast event on the sail barge. Hello, we're
Amazing.
live from the
From
sail
the sail
barge,
bar.
where we're just executing one of Jabba's people that haven't paid their money. Any final words?
We'll switch over to the Rancor pit cameras here in a second, folks.
Could you imagine that? Could you
Live
imagine that?
Live feeding the
Here we have
feeding
Charlie
of
live
Rancor.
from the Sarlacc.
That'd be an absolute. And enter the raffle for a free ride on the Rancor.
That'd be
That'd
awesome.
be amazing, wouldn't it?
That would be
He
fun.
could put in his own adverts about like bounty hunters as well. Like, Han Solo, there's a bounty out for you, 3,000, credits. Bring him in. I think Jabba would be an amazing podcast host. I was going to say Chewbacca, but I could go one of either way. You upset him, then getting your own ripped off.
You got no arms left.
Yeah.
See, for me, I feel like this would really, really divide people. For me, it would be C3PO because
gosh.
that entire data bank of knowledge, experiences, stories. He's been there through all of it. He's seen all of it. He's been a part of all of it. He's instrumental in it. But I'd do it in like the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. That would be like the setup and the backdrop. And it would just be me and him, and I would just ask questions and then let him ramble for like 20 minutes. And I feel like, as we're both quite rambly people, I feel like that would work. That would work pretty well. And I feel like I'd actually really enjoy it. But I know we would have a very small number of listeners because most people I know want to knock C3PO out. So
I can see you and Hugh ain't getting on.
Yeah. Or K2.
Yeah.
K2 would be a good
Actually,
one too,
maybe what I'm saying is I just want to interview. I just want to talk to. I just want to co-host with all of the droids.
That'd be fun. They have some sassiness to them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, can you imagine KT? That would be so funny. How's your day been with Cassian? Fine.
I'm only here because Cassian says I had to. That's awesome.
He said I have to be nice.
I'm seeing the similarities between K2 and Charlie now. Anyway, next question.
Thanks, guys. That's so what I want to be compared to. Thanks. Our last question. If our podcast was set inside the Star Wars universe, where would we be broadcasting from?
Again, I'd love the sail barge or the palace.
Is it with you in the sail barge? Only if you wear the bikini.
Oh my.
Happy days. Who's got the chain?
There goes our oh my gosh, there goes our
Anyway.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm trying to think of my favorite places. I mean,
I do feel like the archives, the Jedi archives, would be a good place for us. I
cool.
feel like that's very like us.
Yeah, some Jedi temple on a planet, backwater planet.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
I don't think so. I don't think we would. I honestly think like the palace, Mos Eisley Cantina, and one of the bars or something.
Oh, the cantina.
That'd be good.
Mos
Man,
Eisley
maybe like Navarro, like
Yeah.
before it was all cleaned up or something. That'd be all right.
Yeah. Even
Good
the
stuff.
Death Star.
No.
They got blown up.
Still got blown up.
Hands down, this might be the best conversation we've ever had on the show. This is brilliant. And
Where
I
else?
think, what else? I think that's a wrap on Star Wars Podcast Day.
Yeah.
We genuinely, sincerely hope that you enjoyed this little peek behind the curtain at what Star Wars podcasting means to us and to the wider community.
And whether you're listening since the early days of fan-made MP3s, downloads, or just
Ooh.
discovered a Star Wars podcast recently, we're incredibly grateful you choose to spend your time with us. From Jedi and the Mailman to Taylor and I talking Star Wars books, and then obviously our regular, weekly podcast with the three of us most of the time.
Yes, all the way to our Discord, our website, and even our merchandise shop. If you enjoyed the discussion, be sure to check out some of the other amazing shows celebrating Star Wars Podcast Day, and let us know your own answers to the questions we talked about. What got you into Star Wars podcasts? What do you look for? And where do you think the fandom is heading next?
Nice. Thank you. And as always, you've been listening or watching. And until next time, we have spoken.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
Close your eyes. Feel it.
Wise as Master Yoda, as powerful as Master Windu.
They'll do their job well. I'll guarantee that.
I am going to end this once and for all.
We're home. You were the chosen one!